Welcome to AEA's Advanced Skills Series.
What we're doing today is we're testing the carbon monoxide levels on our ovens. First thing we need to do is zero out our combustion analyzer. We want to do that outside. So you can come over to a window, just take the probe, put it out the window, turn the unit on. It's going to take 60 seconds to zero out. If you were not to do this outside, if you were to do it in the home, and the home already had an elevated level of CO, it would set that at 0. So that's why we want to do it outside with this fresh air. Okay, once 60 seconds has gone by, what we need to do is select a fuel type: natural gas, number 2 oil, liquid propane, and kerosene, F1, F2, F3, F4.
Okay, so we zeroed it out and we're over by the stove.
Right, and what we're going to do now is our carbon monoxide test. And we have a few setup procedures that we want to do. First thing we want to do is we want to look inside the oven and make sure that it's cleaned out, take a level of how clean it is. So in your notes, if it were a filthy oven, you might say, listen, it was all dirty. That might create carbon monoxide from smoldering. After we've done that, we're going to close it up. We're going to crank it up to 500 or broil as high as it goes. You're going to leave it closed. If there are any fans, we're going to turn those on.
Does the fan have to vent to the outside?
We should check that it vents to the outside so you can open it up and look inside. This one does not. The other thing that we want to do is we're going to want to ventilate the space, so we're going to want to open a window in that area. Now this has to go for about 5 minutes to reach steady state. Now I'm not going to take the probe and put it in there until 5 minutes has gone by. A lot of times these things skyrocket. They go up into the thousands. If you put this in there and let it get into the thousands, it can blow the sensor in the combustion analyzer, and then you won't get any reading.
The stove has to get up to temperature before it starts burning cleanly.
Right, so it goes high and then it'll come back down the CO levels. Okay,
right.
So we're going to wait about 5 minutes until we do that.
Okay.
We're going to test the range top. So there are a couple of different procedures. Some people, what they do is they test each one individually, make sure that it doesn't go above about 10 parts per million. Other people just crank all of them on and see what they get. I'm going to do each one individually. So I'm just going to turn it on. I'm going to hold the probe about 10 or 12 inches above it, and we're going to see what we get on our combustion analyzer.
So at first it was really low. It was just hanging it down around 12 or 14. Right now it's holding it around 68, 60, 70. Up, it's going up again.
If we get a number that high, we want to recommend that it be cleaned. See how this number is jumping up?
Yeah.
That most likely is completely coming from that source right there. It's not just coming from the burner. So basically with BPI, 0 to 100, you're good to go. 100 to 300, we're going to recommend that the unit be cleaned and that a CO detector be installed somewhere in the kitchen. 300 and above, what we're going to recommend is that the unit definitely be serviced. Not even recommend, you're going to require that it be serviced and that a CO detector is installed.
So we're sort of on the border at 130 here. So recommend to the owner that they clean it out a little bit, but really you're pretty close to 100.
Yep, we would recommend that this unit be cleaned and that a CO detector be put into the kitchen.
Okay.
And
great.
if it weren't vented to the outside or there was no hood vent at all, we'd recommend something like that be installed as well. So now what we're going to do is test the range top. So now I'm going to turn this down, and what I'm going to do is kind of hold this up here, and we're going to see if we get any ambient CO readings.
So right now the whole
right now everything is off. It'll take a minute or two, but we want to see that there's no ambient CO here. So if someone were cooking or what, it wouldn't be affecting them.
All right, so now we can really see the numbers dropping.
Which is a good sign. See if we get any ambient CO readings. Right now everything is off. It'll take a minute or two, but we want to see that there's no ambient CO here. So if someone were cooking or what, it wouldn't be affecting them.
All right, so now we can really see the numbers dropping.
Which is a good sign. What we're going to do now, we're going to test the range top, okay?
Yeah, it seemed to stabilize at 18.
What we can do now is turn on another one. So what we can do is test each one sort of individually while leaving them on as you turn them on, right? So tested that one, test this one, come to the back. Okay, so now they're all going. You kind of get a reading about here and make sure that you don't get that high a level. Ideally, these range tops, we like to see them down below 10, but there are a lot of different standards out there. Right now we're at 10, 9. It's not bad. When you have a number that low, as soon as you turn them off, the CO dissipates really quickly.